What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of I Am Negan, a TWD Universe podcast. My name is Adam Vale. I am an editor over at the Koalition, Koalition.com. And I'm joined by Editor-in-Chief, Richard Bailey Jr. What's up, Rich?
What's up, Adam? What's up, listeners and viewers?
Oh, people. Man, a lot going on in Walking Dead, but let's just start off with a big thank you. Thank you for everybody that's been following on Spotify with all the new features and the bells and all that stuff. Thank you also for people on iTunes and, of course, just checking us out over at the Koalition or on YouTube. So thanks a lot. And if you want to leave comments and figure out what's going on, if you got your own theories, go ahead, drop them in the comment section over on YouTube, and we will hit you up. We'll reply back there. All right, so just wanted to get that away. Thanks a lot for everybody, because there are a lot of people that jumped in, especially toward the end of the season for Walking Dead proper, for that mid-season. And I'm sure people are curious about what's going to happen next for Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, especially now that we know that Madison is coming back. That's definite. So we'll get into what we think is going to happen there. But this right here, if you don't know, people, this is we're going to do a full breakdown of this, a discussion. Not a frame by frame. We're just going to break this down because this wasn't that good of an episode. Just letting you know right now. But if you haven't seen it, you can go to AMC Plus right now and you can watch it. That's how they roll. They post their episodes a week early. And so we will be back sometime later this week with episode 10. So this is for Fear the Walking Dead season 7, episode 9. Follow me. So there you go. If you haven't seen it, if you don't care about spoilers, then go ahead, stick around. We're gonna break this down for you. All right, so let's get into it. I'm upset. This upsets me, and this is just not this episode, but it's just how the series conducts itself when it comes to the storytelling, especially the past 2 seasons, where there's a lot of stuff happening off camera.
Yep.
And it starts off that way, and it's just so frustrating. Oops, I hit the mic, sorry. It's just so frustrating. Yeah, I'm just frustrated. Because here it is. All right, Alicia wakes up, and she doesn't know where she's at. She doesn't know what's going on. She hears music. She's somewhere else. And I'm like, what's happening? Because the last we saw, she was with Morgan, and she had just threatened Strand, saying, we're going to war. What, did we miss the war? Did that happen? Did you decide not to show that? Did you figure, wow, do we have a war thing set up for the button? No, oh, we don't? Okay, man, what do we do? Well, we're going to do a wake-up scene. What do you mean wake-up scene? Oh, she's just going to wake up somewhere else and everything already happened. Are you cool with that? I guess so. And this is what we have, because she wakes up and she's, well, sort of groggy, not sure what's going on, and we see that there's somebody next to her. Long story short, his name is Paul. He's deaf, and he had found her out in nowhere land, because they don't, again, there's no locations when it comes to this show. Well, at least Walking Dead sort of tries to break it down by different areas. This does not do that at all. I mean, I have no idea where any of these places are, but they seem to be close. Because whenever they have to navigate to the tower or to the submarine, it's just like, all right, let's just walk over there. We'll get there in a few hours. You know? So she hears a loud music. She sees there's a walker in there. She tries to help him out. This whole thing, he starts freaking out because she banged into the radio. And that's when she discovers that he's deaf and he can't hear the music, but he can feel the vibrations. He's listening to Beethoven, and, you know, the story of Beethoven, he went deaf, and that was his thing. But it didn't even matter, because this whole time I'm frustrated and I'm pissed because you're now, again, the show telling this side story when you're not continuing off from where you left the story. So you leave the story on like a cliffhanger, like, all right, we're going to war. And what do we find out? We find out that she apparently had this war. Something happened. Everybody is dead. The whole crew of people that were following her from the bunker, which we never really got to see, they were just background noise, they're all converted. And we find that out very quick because Arnold is hunting her down. And if you remember from the early part of the season, Arnold was another member of that group in the bunker who just wanted to do things different. He had a different idea of how to go about things. And it might be for the best, because he's hunting her down because she needs to pay pretty much for her sins. of leading these people to Padre, which was no Padre, and they all died. We don't really know how they died, right? Because they didn't say that they had a fight or a war with Strand. So I guess they got bit. There was a bunch of walkers. I don't know. But long story short, when Arnold shows up to this location, because that's the other thing, he's knocking on the door, and Paul answers like, "Yeah, what do you want?" I'm like, whoa, again, pause. What is this? So now people just live out their lives, not part of any community, and others know they're there. Is that how this works? You know what I mean? It's like,
That's a great question.
because when he knocks, he's like, "Yeah, I'm looking for someone," and it was, what is this? Are you in a village, small town? You know him? Do you know each other? Clearly you don't, because Paul doesn't know him. Paul doesn't say, "Oh, this is a local goon," with the goon squad from the tower. No, he doesn't know any of this. So they're not filling in any of the blanks. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. It was very nonchalant, like, "Oh yeah, this is just how things are. They just go door to door and they're looking for somebody." There was a nuclear blast. This dude is still, Arnold and them are still wearing their hazmat suits and stuff. You know what I mean? That's why Paul told him to take off the mask so he can read his lips and stuff. But it frustrated me. That frustrated me. So before I go any further, what did you think of just this opening and just this? Yeah, pretty much the kickstart from the mid-season break.
Well, I would say that I had the same level of frustration. I know what they were trying to do in terms of, this Arnold character is still around for a reason. And obviously, as we'll get into later on, it's revealed, I guess, what his new purpose is. But, I just feel like this was not really a good way to bring the show back for the after the mid-season break, because after Alicia had that line about going to war, well, the next episode, I'm expecting that storyline to continue. Now, the storyline has continued, but again, they have decided, well, we need to delay this war so we can stretch out the rest of the season and have all these other little side stories. And the same could be said about some upcoming episodes, because I don't think they're going to get to the war quite yet. I mean, but this episode definitely was just a side story in terms of Alicia waking up. And then, they did make reference to the fact that she has these headaches, and she has a vision in the headaches, which is, I guess, this is talking about what her deeper purpose is going to be. But again, I just think it's very confusing to end this, to take a break with the season finale, the mid-season finale, the way that they did, and then come back this way. It doesn't make any kind of sense. And yes, as you said, all the people that she had before that have all converted, I don't really know what happened to them. I know that there was that whole blast storm that happened towards the season finale, and that was when Morgan and her recruited, and then that's when they finally confronted Strand. So I don't know if they were impacted by what happened in that storm. Maybe they got exposed and they all turned or whatever. But yeah, it's just it doesn't make any kind of sense, and they definitely needed to explain and show a lot more than they actually did.
Yeah, it's like she's sort of explaining some of the things. She has fevers. She lost a hand. She's explaining it to Paul. He's talking about his wife that died, and with the music, and he plays a bunch of instruments. I'm like, okay, all right, well, where are we going with this? What's the point? And then after the whole thing with Arnold, and he leaves, and then she's like, "All right, we got to get out of here. You got to come with me." And it's like, "What? I want to stay here." No, you have to help fight, and we have to fight together. It's like, fight? What is that? She has to get back to her people. Talking about her people. She's got to go back in the fight again. What fight? Tell us where this fight is. What happened? At least paint a picture. So if you're not going to show us, let us use our imagination. Oh, it was horrible. And put like screaming noises, the audio in the background. We went past this one location, this house. We thought we were safe, and we were ambushed, and all these walkers came. Dude, something. There was nothing. None of that. So we don't know. Where are your people? I don't know. We don't know. Yeah, and like you said, she's getting these weird visions. And, man, a part of me was thinking, is this what we're going to get with Madison? Is Madison just going to be a vision?
Oh, well, I hope not. So here's the thing. I will make this comment. They had an interview with some of the cast prior to the return of the season, and they made a comment to say that, well, because this is a war between Strand and Alicia, there will be casualties. So I want to know if there's going to be major casualties, as in major characters, not these side characters that you don't really care about.
It's not even, and we'll get to it. Of the horrible storytelling when it comes to these things. It's just there's so much it can do, and it's not like I'm asking for more. They can just reshuffle the pieces that they have now to make things a little more interesting, and I'll get to that in a second. So when they're about to leave and they're out there, then of course Arnold shows up. He was right. He had a feeling she was still there. And so then he tells her the whole thing. You're to blame for this whole padre leading all these people to their death. Again, what happened? We don't know. But he wrangled them all up and put them in a cage. And it's like, here they are. These are your people, and you belong with them. I'm going to put you in there with them. And you know what? Fine. I think that makes sense. If she's led them to their death, and she would telling Paul before, she was like, oh, I had these visions, and I was following some walker guy in my brain, and the dozing and thinking and going crazy. Oh man, it was a lot of back and forth rambling, and I don't know if this was their way of trying to tell the story again for the returning viewers that maybe don't remember all of this, but this was a horrible way to go about doing it. So Paul whips out a gun and he just started bucking shots. Right? And I was like, oh, here we go. He's taking shots. He's shooting at everybody. She makes a run for it. He shoots some of Arnold's guys. Arnold makes a run for it, and he's out. So now they're together, and they're like, all right, now we're going to get out of here. And she flips it. No, you can't come with me now. She was like, it's not safe for you. You just finished giving a whole speech about how he has to help fight. And now he picks up a gun, and he's fighting. And now you're telling him to stay. Which made no sense, because he even said, he was like, well, if I stay, now I'm in danger, because now they know that I was harboring you here, and so they're going to come back. I mean, and she was like, yeah, oh. She was like confused. And right there, that part there was like, doesn't make any sense. The storytelling doesn't make any sense. Why go down that road? Oh, man. It was so frustrating. This is very frustrating. Because of that. It's like, why? Why are they going through this whole back and forth thing? And then right at that point, I knew. And you knew. I'm sure anybody watching this. Oh, he's going to die now. Right? And sure enough, that's what happens. He gets shot. Then he was like, don't worry, I'll provide cover. You can leave. He breaks out the bagpipes. And then she makes a run. Go ahead.
Oh, no, continue. I'll say after you.
Yeah, he breaks out the bagpipes. He's making, because it makes all this noise. It lures all the walkers to it, because that was the other thing that when she first, which also made no sense, when she was like, oh, early on, when she was like, oh, you're playing this loud music because you're going to attract the walkers. And he was like, no, it's soundproof. There was a walker right here. I mean, what are you talking about? And so anyway, the door, I get it. For this go around, we'll just say the doors are open. So he plays the bagpipes. Walkers are coming. Arnold and the crew, they're all in there. A whole bunch of chaos is going on. Alicia makes the getaway, and he dies. We hear a gunshot. He gets taken out, obviously. Problems with this, because we know that this has been their trope. They introduce a character. They try to throw in a bunch of touchy-feelies. They're like, oh, yeah, this sentimental. All right, I get it. Oh, he's a good guy, and his wife, and this whole thing. And then, oh, he's dead now. It's too quick. I miss the days of when they would have a character and fool you and make you think he's a main character, like Tyrese and all of those. And then, poof, they're gone. They die. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming at all. And the only thing I could think of is that they had to change that formula, which made the comics so successful, which made the games so successful, because that would happen in the games. And because of Glenn. Because when Glenn died, Walking Dead proper, those who read the comics knew it was coming. No surprise. Almost like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones, right? Everybody knew this was coming if you followed the story. But for those who didn't, up in arms. How dare they do it? Oh, they had to kill the Asian guy. They took it to the next level. And it was like, no, this is how it planned out. If you really cared about this, if you were really that concerned and wanted to know the story, then just do a wiki search or something. It's out there. But no, they flipped out. The ratings went down, not drastically, but you saw the comments and on the posts and the forums, people were like, I'm not watching anymore. He was my favorite character. How could they do this? Blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Since then, no surprise deaths. This is it. If you see someone you think they're going to die, they're going to die. That's pretty much. So what were you going to say, Rich?
Yeah, so let me just start by saying, as far as the character is concerned, they told this story that, yes, he's a musician, all this other stuff. I don't know when he learned to actually shoot a weapon and defend himself, so I was a little surprised to see him basically trying to defend Alicia. But I pretty much agree with everything you said as far as the criticisms. And I think, and I agree that this is the formula that they are going with, because they're killing all these other characters. And much like with the season premiere, when we got introduced to the character Will, and you find out later, oh, that is Alicia's love interest. But yet we've only met this character and we've known about him in one episode. So why should we care that he gets killed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't care.
Yeah,
there's no reason to care, because it was just in and out, poof, 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 done. Oh, it's just so frustrating. It's very frustrating, and there's no surprises. Like, I was telling you off this before the show started. So I started replaying. There's a Telltale's game, and there's 3 episodes, and it's Michonne. Walking Dead Michonne. And it's storytelling. If anyone ever plays, it's point and click, and it's a great story. But anyway, there's one part where Michonne goes into a house. There's some kids. She had saved another child. She was like a young adult. Saves her. And she's talking to the father. She's like, the father's like, hey, let's go talk. So they go in another room and they're talking. He's talking about how his wife had died and this whole thing. And he was like, do you know the pain I'm feeling right now? I lost my son, whole thing. And she tells the story, well, I lost somebody too. And he says, oh, so you relate. So while he's like, well, I think, and boom, he gets shot in the head and he's dead. Like mid-sentence, he's just, boom, he drops. This bullet's flying through the window. That was a shock. That's what we're missing from all of these right now. Mm-hmm. Where is the shock? I don't want the predictable, okay, new guy, sad story, yeah, you're gonna die. I want the shock. I want something very, very random. Like, even if they would have had where, right at the beginning where they're talking, and it's like, oh no, this is soundproof, everything. Oh yeah, my wife, and then if he gets shot, that would have been, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. But I was expecting this. I was like, there's no way he's gonna make it back with her.
Well, I would say I agree that they need to do that. I actually am expecting that to happen, because when you decide to make the announcement that Madison is returning to the show, that means somebody has to die off the show. And you have the writers have written themselves into a corner now, because you have Alicia, who obviously is infected. She's dying, as she says.
She says she's dying, but she would have turned already.
Well, yeah, but there's, like I said, there are other characters that are also in pretty much, it feels as though it's foreshadowing that they're deaf also. And I mean, we'll discuss more of that in the next episode. But I just feel like there has to be a major death. I mean, like we'll go back to, I believe it was last season. Was it last season when John died? That was something that we didn't expect to happen.
Yeah.
So
right at the end, boom, he's dead. It's like, okay, there you go.
And it worked, and it was a double gut punch, because also of the fact that June had to be the one to kill him. And so that's why I said it's they need to have the moments like that. And again, because this is a war and it's going to be major casualties, I'm expecting somebody to get killed, because they have too many characters on this show that I think their story has run its course, so they need to get rid of some people that are major characters.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you're going to introduce a character and you're going to try to give this whole backstory and spend a good 15, 20 minutes of him just talking about his life, then make people get a little more invested in the character. Have them stick around for an episode or two. Make us believe or think that he's going to be a main character and he's going to do something important, and then take him out. So then it's like, oh man, I can't believe they did that. They got me. I thought he was going to stick around for a while. No, and at no point did I think he was going to stick around. And it was such a big part of the episode. It was pretty much the entire episode, all of this.
Absolutely.
Because then even after that, while she's heading away, she collapses. She has another vision, and this time she sees herself approaching her. So she's having these weird visions, which is why I'm wondering if this is how they're going to introduce Madison. If Madison is going to be like a Harry situation from Dexter, where the dad would always just pop up, remember? And it was just a figment of imagination. He was dead. So is that what they're going to do with her, Madison? But then again, we didn't see Madison die in the baseball field.
Yeah, so they have to explain, what that's all about with her coming back.
Yeah, how did she get out? If she did, where did she go? How come she didn't find him? Because it seems like everybody can find everybody just by walking around a little bit. Because right after that collapse, sure enough, she wakes up, and who's there? It's Morgan. And he's like, oh, you reached our camp and then you collapsed. It's like, what about the woman that helped me? There was no woman. You by yourself. Were you with people? No. What? Where are you? How close is everybody? What? Man.
And also after that, the explanation she gives Morgan of the fact that she has to go because she knows what her purpose now is. She is supposed to be Padre, leading people to, I guess, the chosen land or whatever, to the tower. That was very confusing.
Delusional cult leader in training. That's what she is. Because they're the same way. I had a vision. I looked up at the sky. It was a hot, sunny day. It was God's glow. He just told me we all have to go take the mothership and fly away. What? Yep. Follow me to the woods. Let's go. And she's just rambling now. She's losing it. And I swear, if the next episode, Morgan says, all right, we're going to get the group, get everybody out of our safe confines of the submarine and follow you to nowhere land, I'm done. Because there's no way. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, luckily, no. That's not the next...
Good, because it can't work that way. She is losing it, whether it's because of the fevers or whatever's happening, but the visions and... her thinking that she is the savior to take everyone to this promised land makes no sense. Because first she's talking about that, but remember she's telling Paul, oh, we got to fight and we got to take the tower. It's like the tower. He knows nothing about the tower. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. You make it seem like this is a kingdom. If this is a fairy tale and everybody knows that the evil king is up on the hill and we have to go and fight him to take the kingdom. No, he doesn't know any of this stuff. So all of it it's like out of place.
Yeah, it is.
It was horrible. As opposed to the beginning of the season, which was really cool because remember it came back from the nuke blast. And we were seeing where everybody was, and then that storytelling made sense, right? These people are in the bunker. These people are in the submarine.
That actually made it interesting, yeah, because you wanted to get an update on what was happening with every character, and they had separate episodes to show you what happened to that character or those characters. So that was smart. But now,
not every episode you have to kill people off, but we're saying keep it interesting. Yeah, there was nothing interesting here. This felt very lazy. It did. That's like, why? Why are we supposed to care? What happened to her? She led all these people to die. Morgan doesn't even bring that up. Where are the rest of the crew? Last time I saw you, you and like 20 other heads went off to Padre. What happened? Why are you alone?
Yeah. That's
And how come Morgan didn't go?
Well, I guess Morgan is preoccupied now. I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. That's the whole thing. We don't know, and they don't. There's so many holes. So many holes.
So what they want us to assume is that there was some time that passed after that interaction with Victor Strand. Maybe this happened a day or so afterwards, and then Morgan went back, and then she decided to go somewhere else, and then that's when she had this whole side story take place for her character.
They could have, if that's the case, then they could have taken a page from Walking Dead proper that we just saw when they would put on the bottom right and say like 6 months later.
Yep.
3 weeks later.
Absolutely.
A week earlier. Yeah, do something. Do something. But to have the mid-season come back with this type of episode, this was rough. This was rough. I was watching this, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is what's the point of this? What is it?
No, I agree 100%. And the other quick point I will add is, as far as the Arnold character is concerned, now obviously from what I saw, it looks like he got bit, and then they came to that field where it's a whole bunch of walkers.
That's right toward the end. Right toward the end of that, that's the crater. That's one of the craters of where a nuke hit, and for some reason they're all hoarded up in this hole, and they're infected. They're all radioactive. So these like super walkers. I think we've seen a few of them before. That if you shoot them, remember there was that one where Morgan and Grace, when they had their episode and they came in contact, if you get too close to them, that when they bite you, or not even bite you, if they even touch you, that radiation gets on you, so it's burning you and stuff. So so it looks like there's hundreds of thousands or whatever. It's a massive amount of them there. And honestly, I'm starting to think that maybe Arnold's in the right with all of this. I see him, then he's a good guy, because this sort of makes sense. If the story was flipped around, and let's say it was Morgan that had a member of his group take some other people and lead them to their doom, I would want to. I'm sure Morgan would want to find them and make them pay for what they did.
So Arnold he wants to lead this group of walkers to the tower. And take over the tower.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing. Because she was like, we have to fight this other group too. So it's like there's 3 groups fighting for this one building. How about you go somewhere else? This building isn't that special. And where are all these people coming from that are in the group? Because we saw a little bit of that before.
Yeah.
Where people would just show up and Strand can pick and choose who he wants. Some of them have to be coming from some other communities. Oh, man, it's just a lot of holes. And they just make more holes. Because it's just when you think, okay, they're going to have to answer some of these. Mid-season break, it's back, let's do this. No, more holes. There was a war, all kinds of stuff. How far did she go? Doesn't seem that far, because within one walk of a few hours, she found Morgan.
Yeah, yep.
How that? You have a compass? Did you know where you were? Because if you're that close, then everybody should have at least seen each other at some point. And, you know what I mean? You're near the tower. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. This was not good TV. This was not a good episode. So hopefully things get better. I was really excited. We were all excited. Both of us, I should say. Whoever else. I'm sure there's other people out there that were excited. When season 7 started, right after the nuke blast, we have radioactive walkers. It was great. It was like, all right, we're going in a new direction. This is completely different from Walking Dead proper. And that's what I've always loved about Fear the Walking Dead. It does throw a lot of that. But when you have this type of stuff going on, where it doesn't really make much sense, where they're still trying to portray like we're supposed to care about Alicia. I don't care. Right now, I think she is the villain. She's gone crazy. She's a cult leader, leading people to nowhere. She even said herself, I was following a talking walker that I thought was talking to me. And to where? She doesn't know. And then now she wants to do that again? No, Arnold's in the right. Yeah, she needs to be put down because she's a danger to others. She's going to cause other people to die. And for what? So she wants to take over the tower to do what?
That's a good question.
Doesn't add up. Doesn't add up. So, I don't know. That's pretty much it. That's it. So I haven't watched episode 10. Plan on watching it. You said you already watched it. You already know what's going on. So we will. Yeah, I'll catch up. I'll watch that and we'll come back later this week and we'll cover that one. Hopefully it's better than. Oh no, there's a laugh.
No, wait. Well, no, we'll see. There's something to say about that episode afterward, though, for sure.
Yeah, man, they definitely have to do something because I have a lot of high hopes for Fear. I like Fear, especially now that we have all these other spin-offs. And I don't know, people, if you've heard, but not only the spin-offs are coming, but we're also getting new walkers. We're going to get the running walkers. So if you watch World Beyond, right at the end, they sort of tease that. You see a doctor, she gets shot, and then she turns, and not only does she turn, but she turns into a running walker and starts running toward the door. So she instantly knows where to go. Because clearly she can still remember certain things, and she knows that's a door, but she gets up and goes running to the door, and then it cuts out. And from what we've heard with the showrunners and the plan for Isle of the Dead, which is Negan and Maggie, those are the walkers that they're going to be encountering. The running ones. So it's no longer Walking Dead, it's Running Dead. The Running Dead. And here's the thing. That's going to be a big game changer. Huge game changer. Because if they're running, that means everyone else has to start running.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's going to definitely change the dynamic of the show. It's going to make it a lot more fast paced. Sort of like 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later. Awesome films. Awesome with these running walkers. I say walkers. These running dead. Zombies. I hate saying just call them zombies. But remember Empties. I think that was even worse of a name. World Beyond. Oh, the Empties. Oh, boy. Whatever. So that was it. That was season 7, episode 9. Follow me. The key here is do not follow her. She will lead you to your death. She will be the only survivor for some reason. Maybe this is what I'm filling in the blanks again, because that's what we have to do with this. We have to fill in the blanks. Because she's bit, I think that's why walkers they can smell that she sort of smells death, or she has that stench. That's the only thing I can think of. That's why they don't, and maybe that's what they'll go forward with it, as opposed to the traditional of like, oh, you have to put the gook on you of the dead on you to walk through them, but she doesn't. So she's special. Maybe they'll say that she's special in that way because she's been bit and she survived, and something's gone wrong. Where, unlike other episodes, like with characters like Aaron, where something was on, they had to amputate, and then with a few other characters that have had amputations from being bit and they survive. They don't have the fevers and all the side effects she's having, so it's clearly, like she said, she didn't get it all. So maybe this sort of mutates her and makes her a special hybrid. And that's how they're going to explain how she can do certain things, which I'm hoping. Again, I'm filling in the blanks. I'm just making up a storyline here for them because we don't know what's going to happen. And I doubt if it's going to be that creative. I have no faith right now. And I mean, even when we saw the showrunner at the end piece of that, he looked like very unenthusiastic about the whole thing. Like, I just want to get this over with. Right? You know what I mean? Like, usually he's like smiling. He's like, yeah, this and he's like, and then Alicia goes and has these visions, and he's like, yeah, I did not write this. I didn't like this part. This whole episode. But you know what? It was just one episode. It's early. Yeah. Let's see where it goes and see what happens. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, checking this out. Again, if you want to have your own thoughts and theories on this, drop them over in the comment section over on YouTube. And we will be back for episode 10, season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead. All right, peoples. Peace.
Peace.